Hey guys, how y'all doing? My name is Jack and I'm with House Masters LLC. I'm working on a set of stairs here that the homeowners wanted to change from a curb set of risers to a open set of risers. And what I have here is some of the preliminary stuff being done where I am adding a piece of 2x8 to allow the treads to be brought over in a wider fashion. The treads have been actually removed and reset temporarily using screws so I can have easier access to mark the faces of the risers onto the 2x8 that I have screwed in place temporarily. You don't see the marks probably from this angle, but I'll go ahead and bring it a little bit closer. Perhaps you can see it, but still, anyway, if you can see them, good. But they are there, and it's going to allow me to mimic the original carriage that I have right here if I can get my hand on it. That's marking even with the face of this and the underside of the treads, which is the top of the rough carriages here. And I have them moved over onto this piece here. So that way I can set this up on my saw bench, cut it out, and get this thing screwed back in place permanently so that the new treads that go on, which are actually over here, nice set of white oak treads, and they're all leaning up against there. They're going with a bullnose configuration, which they'll have a newel post set up right here, and this will be the first tread at the bottom. So we're increasing the width of the stairs and adding a bullnose at the bottom. I think it's going to be a very nice detail when it's done. They are also interested in adding some paneling on the wall, which I have some of the preliminary marks just to see how everything's going to size up. Also have a little drawing that I make, which, let me see if I can get that angle right, which is the incentive for the whole thing. This has been drawn on a 3D program that I have. It's a free one called SketchUp. It used to be by Google, but now Trimble has it. And they still have a free version, I think. Yeah, this is version 2017 that I did this on. Even though it's 2024, I have the old stuff. I don't like the newer online version. Anyway, but this is drawn up and approved by the homeowner so they can see what they're going to have as a final product. This is, as you can see, including the handrail, the treads, riser. Some things I put in color just to help show the differences, so you can actually see the treads, so you can actually see the newel post rather than just being a whole bunch of black and white lines, on a piece of paper. It helps, distinguish one part or another. So anyway, that's what I have. And between that paneling, I'm going to go ahead and show a little bit of a thing, because this paneling was added after the fact, and it's always good when homeowners know everything that they want off the bat. But down here on this landing nosing, where this paneling is going to be added, this wall is now going to come out another 1.5 inches in thickness. One, because they need a layer on top of this wall to get rid of the texture that's on here versus sanding. There's some marks on the wall, some bubbles in the wall, if you want to call it, bumps that they don't want to see. Besides, they like the panel idea anyway. And they want to get rid of this texture that this wall has. I don't know. This is going to get overlaid with 1/2 inch of MDF, just so, one, it'll span over top of these large areas. Some of these panels are up to about 5 foot wide. And just putting 1/4 inch over top of it and trying to finish through 1/4 inch material, putting finish nails through 1/4 inch material, I don't advise it, at least anyway. The nails will pull through very easy should the temperature change, the humidity change in the materials. So all that's all part of my consideration for going with 1/2 inch material, because I know the nail will hold in that. I could glue it, but then again, I don't know the nature of this wall, whether the paint will release first. So that's also something that I can't guarantee, but going with a thicker material will allow that to happen and know that it will last over the long haul. So with that, then with the chalk lines that you see here, those are the horizontals and the verticals with the pencil lines. There's just my medium that I chose to use. Chalk lines good for long lines, but I drew out the plumb lines with a 6 foot level. And anyway, this is all going to be another additional 3/4 of an inch of material over top of this. So by the time this material is added over top of this here nose. This nose is going to be covered up. And then there's still a piece of skirt board that has to go down here at the stair level. That's the first line here. This red line here is from the skirt board going down. The second line is the rail or the stiles, but this is an angled one. You can call it a rail or a stile, whatever you want. Call it a diagonal. Their material is going to be 4.5 inches wide, and that's what that material is right there. And that's going to be a piece of 3/4 inch thick over top of the 1/2 inch stuff that's of the actual panels that goes across the whole wall. So between the 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and then another 1/2 inch of base, by the time this skirt board comes up, pardon the angle. Anyway, by the time the skirt board comes up, again, this landing nosing is going to be covered up. And this is a lovely rift sawn white oak floor, finished natural. So I'm going to glue up another piece of nosing for this area here and recut this line through here to where it now intersects out this way. And that will help pull this edge out beyond like the way this is now. This is the way it should be finished on a finished wall. But now the finished wall is out another 1.5 inches plus deeper, so I have to make accommodations in this to change that. Anyway, that's it for now. Another thing I see on working in these older homes, this is really not that old, but still, it has different floor finishes going on compared to, pardon the close-up. Anyway, it has different floor finishes going on than what the original intent was. Downstairs, it still has a 3/4 inch floor, so all the risers are the same size. But the upstairs is now finished in the white oak. And that raised up the finished floor a substantial amount compared to what the original ones were. So all these treads were 7 3/4 inch rise. That's including the one that still is good down at the bottom. And all of them all the way up through. They're nice, even, they're accurate. They did a very good job of building a set of stairs. There's a creak down at the bottom, and I'm going to correct also since I got everything open and up. But the last step was at 3/4 inch bigger, 8.5 inches versus 7 3/4, which is a code hazard, safety hazard, code violation. Anyway, so what I'm going to do, and you can see the marks, I'm going to add a graduated set of blocks, and you can see I got 11/16 is going to go on top of this tread. I got 5/8 is going to go on top of this tread. And so when I'm going to lose a 1/16 inch on all these marks, so that I'm going to turn this camera around. All right, try this again. Okay, well, anyway, maybe I'll edit that out and maybe I won't. All right, I'm back again. I've gotten the extra carriage that's been added. I've gotten that all cut out. It's in place, and you can see that I got everything lined up very well with the face of the existing risers. And there's even a little bit of room of play for there. I don't even want to say that, but I tell you what, the polyurethane glue that I'm going to bed all these in are actually very, will be very strong. And polyurethane glue is a very good gap filler. You'll see that they are not lined up at the top, but that's intentional. If you remember in an earlier video, which may be in the same sequence, depending on how I edit it, that the bottom rise is at 7 3/4 and the very top rise is at 8.5. So I took and graduated this cut of this one piece that I added here, a 1/16 inch difference from the top all the way down to where you'll see that the difference is great at the top. The midways down, you'll see it's got a little bit of a misalignment, but when I add the shims on the underneath of the new treads, when it comes up, then everything will be at the same even level right there, so that when the new treads go and want to come all the way out to the edge, that'll finish this off. Well, that's all done. I've also made sure that my lines on the wall, the chalk lines that follow the skirt board, are going to follow the new nose height. So that's all been adjusted when I laid it out the other day.